Peter Dutton is now being talked about as possibly our next Prime Minister. He was once a police officer who's been in Parliament for 17 years and could be leading the country within days. Tim Lester reports.
7 more votes and he'd have been Prime Minister.
I can smile.
Grinning here.
Or maybe show a different side.
Chuckling here. Peter Dutton appearing so delighted after 2/5 of the Liberal Party room backed him, he rolls out the CV for a second tilt.
I've served loyally for Liberal leaders, including Malcolm Turnbull.
Peter Craig Dutton, Brisbane-born, 47, here meets Santa, aged 9, a police and drug squad officer in his 20s. In 2001, he beats Labor's Cheryl Curnow to win the seat of Dixon. 3 years later,
Mr Dutton, I invite you to take and subscribe the oath of office.
He's in John Howard's ministry.
I've been on the front bench for 14 years.
Today, around one of his electorate's best-known pubs,
I probably preferred Peter Dutton.
Dixon voters watch their MP crash tackle the PM.
Best thing never happened. The more they get rid of, the better.
Don't trust any politician. You pay them peanuts and you get monkeys.
His career dotted with conservative controversies, from jokes on rising seas covering Pacific Islands, attacks on CEOs who backed same-sex marriage, even boycotting Prime Minister Rudd's apology to the stolen generations. He later regretted it. Most criticism, though, for his uncompromising stand that no Nauru or Manus Island asylum seeker would make it to Australia.
I'm very proud of the fact that I got children out of detention.
Tonight, moderates especially will be weighing just what a Dutton-led Australia looks like. Tim Lester, 7 News.
And Seven's political editor Mark Riley is in Canberra this evening. And Mark, the big question, is Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull a dead man walking?
Yeah, well, he certainly looks like one, Mitch. This is without doubt the fight of his political life and history, and the odds are heavily against him. The Liberal Conservatives are orchestrating a guerrilla campaign to wrest back control from the moderates with the help of some moderates. Former Turnbull man James McGrath and Conservative Michael Sukkar just offered their resignations from the ministry. We'll see whether Malcolm Turnbull accepts those, but I think we'll see more resignations over coming days and public demands for sharp policy changes in health, education and immigration, all hacking away at Malcolm Turnbull until they drag him down in a second spill. It could happen this week, more likely next month, but it will happen. There's the possibility of a third candidate emerging, Julie Bishop or Scott Morrison perhaps, but today the most likely outcome is that Peter Dutton will become our next Prime Minister. Mitch?
Watch this space. Thank you, Mark.
The man who would be Liberal leader is best known here for his controversial headlines. Peter Dutton raised the ire of Victorian political rivals by suggesting gang violence is scaring people away from Melbourne restaurants. Brett McLeod with the story.
3 months out from facing the ballot box, Matthew Guy doesn't need a distraction coming from his own party in Canberra.
This mess that is federal politics, that has been the case effectively since mid-2010, needs to conclude, and we need to have a government that's focused on Australians, not on themselves.
However, it's possible the focus will soon be on a new federal leader.
The Prime Minister's finished. Peter Dutton will be Prime Minister probably by mid-September.
The prospect of a Dutton Liberal government in Canberra, which looks increasingly likely given some of the manoeuvrings and rumblings going on up there, is not something that would be of particular concern to us here in Victoria.
If Peter Dutton is known for anything in Victoria, it's this comment about Melbourne gang violence.
The reality is, people are scared to go out to restaurants at the night time because they're followed home by these gangs. Home invasions and cars are stolen, and we just need to call it for what it is. Of course it's African gang violence.
Despite offering no evidence, he refused to back down.
Do you stand by your statement that people are scared to go to restaurants because of gangs?
Well, Lola, of course I do, and Victorians aren't stupid.
His comments sparked protests.
Dutton's gang is a racist gang. Throw the Liberals out.
But for others, they rang true.
I think there are some people who agree with him. Crime is a big issue in Victoria. He overstated it, but I don't think people will resent that. I think that they've got other reasons to resent Peter Dutton.
Whoever emerges the final victor in Canberra, there are signs the leadership battle will impact locally.